Why do we not fight for things like non-disclosure agreements, which silence our employees across state government, to at least be reformed in that conference committee report? Why did we not fight for that? Because I'm sure other things were fought for. I'm sure there are other reasons that this bill got held up past its due date, 8 extra days. I'm sure there were some things that were important enough for their side and our side to argue about that held this up. But it seems like this is never one of them. So are we just taking a symbolic vote over here when we vote to protect staff, when we vote to protect victims of harassment, discrimination, and abuse? It's really seeming that way to me, and that is extremely disheartening. I get that negotiations have to happen, but to not even see a compromise version that made some progress on the issue of silencing workers across state government being made, not any progress. I know we did a full ban. I'm grateful for that. But to not have some progress be fought for in the budget conference committee, it's extremely, extremely disappointing. Other states have banned these non-disclosure agreements in both the public and the private sector, multiple states, years ago. But because a couple of the people in power right now enjoy using them and having them as tools in their tool belts, we keep going around and around and around on this issue. And I want to express my gratitude to all of my colleagues in the Senate who continue to vote for this. I can't say thank you enough. I am incredibly grateful that you continue to vote for these bans on these silencing contracts that are taxpayer funded. Incredibly grateful. Where I take issue is where some count and some don't in these conversations that are happening in our conference committees. And the hard work that we do on this floor year after year, as a result, starts to seem symbolic in nature to the people that we're fighting for, because they don't see us doing anything different to change the results. And we know that doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. We need to change the process up here so that these provisions that keep not making it across the finish line, even though we have unanimous support on some of these things, actually see the light of day. The process needs to be changed to one where members actually get to participate first and foremost, before and not after the decision is made. But the process also needs to be changed so our communities have access. We can't claim to care about the most vulnerable in our communities, call a piece of legislation progressive, and then say, you're welcome. Without giving them the opportunity to even have a say. Unacceptable. I will continue beating the drum on these issues. I would like to let my colleagues know that I did try to work with our leadership team on the provisions to help our staffers. I have received a commitment that the health insurance issue is being dealt with. I would encourage those who have the power to change some of these things to look at the other provisions that I filed on the budget, as well as I will be filing all of those amendments as standalone bills very shortly and fighting for them during the legislative process. And I will also be taking the next opportunity to bring those provisions to the floor to continue the fight for those things that were not included. I hope that by the time that opportunity arises, many of these issues will have already have been addressed so that we can instill that confidence that we promised to instill in our staffers. Thank you, Mr. President.